a dream house is definitely a weird thing to think about because I've never really considered it, and it would depend on the situation that I'm in at the time.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important thing to like kind of add in, because if I was, say, married with 3 kids, I would
Okay.
need a house to accommodate the fact that I'm married and have 3 kids.
Yeah.
The part that I'm most focused on is I would want a kitchen.
Okay.
I'd want like a really nice kitchen with everything that I need in the kitchen. So I would want. The problem is I basically want an industry standard kitchen in my house.
So yeah, industry standard kitchen in a consumer house.
Yeah, which it has been done, and I would like to point out that they
Mhm.
look sick. We'll do something cool along those lines.
Maybe throw up a couple of pictures here because you can edit it.
Alright, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll throw up some cool pictures. We plan on doing some like form of weird reaction videos, so we
Yeah.
can definitely do like a Reddit video and have a look at stuff like that, which will
Definitely,
be cool.
that'll be a lot of fun.
But I just need to make sure that wherever I am going to live, I have an office. That's really
Okay.
important for me, both for the business that I intend to set up and also for the whole podcast streaming,
Yeah.
YouTube thing, because it's not something that I'm going to give up. Like,
Yeah.
even though I don't see it as becoming a full-time job, and I don't see the fact that I'll make a lot of money out of it, even if I make no money out of it whatsoever, I want to carry on doing it because it's something that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, like, I've thought about this a lot. Don't know why, I just always have, because I like the whole idea of smart homes and whatnot as well. I would love to have a massive house. One that's got a massive garage, one that's got a gym, even a basketball court, have a cinema room, have a studio room, and have just like a study room as well. Multiple bedrooms, kitchen. I ain't too fussed about that bit of it. But it's the tech inside that I want to have, just latest TV. There's the 8K TVs out now, which pretty pricey, but having stuff like that, or even the LG TV where I think it's paper thin or something, it literally just sticks to it. It's crazy. Some of the new stuff coming out. Don't know if you've seen it or not then, by that reaction, I'm
Yeah.
guessing no.
It's something that I'm not really that interested in.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we mainly talk about tech and games and stuff like that, but actual, like, the growing of technology isn't something that I really pay that much attention to.
Right.
I'll be completely honest. I buy and collect stuff that I need or want.
Mhm.
Like, me and Idris had a really big conversation about this in the kitchen, like, 2
Yeah.
days ago.
We did.
And pretty much everything that I buy for a reason. I won't buy anything because it's just like, oh, it's just something that I want. Like, even if we have a look around this room at all of the tech and stuff that I have, like,
Yeah, there's a lot.
yeah, I own a lot of stuff, but it's like I have my MacBook, which I bought because I needed it for my studies while I was at university, and I also needed it because I needed a Mac, because I do a lot of stuff with music, and because I do a lot of stuff with music, the best way to edit music is using a MacBook. We have an audio interface, which we bought
For the podcast, because there was 3 of us at the start.
Yeah, so we needed a one that had at least 3 channels. This microphone I already owned before we had the podcast because it was what I used to record my own music. PlayStation I bought for Spider-Man. That was probably the most impulsive thing that I've ever bought though. TV I bought that because I went to uni and the room that I had wasn't big enough to hold my normal TV, so I had to buy a new TV for it. And that's like literally every single thing in here has a reason for purchase. Nothing has ever been impulsive. Like, I was going to get a capture card to do streaming. It took me 3 months to decide on a capture card, and instead of going for the one that I wanted, I went for a cheaper option. Most of the decisions that I make in my life are very money orientated because I know that I don't want to ever kind of like run out.
Yeah, both of us are quite similar in that respect. Like, we will spend ages just looking at YouTube reviews, tech reviews, reading up on everything we're looking for. I've been dwelling on getting an iPad for the past couple of months, to be honest, so every now and then I bring it back up, start looking at what's going on with it currently. Is it still worth it? Is it worth waiting? I'm not one to jump into it, but I love that process of it. I love finding out new features, new tech, what's going on in the world, how they're advancing. I was saying, like, there's some crazy things going on, especially in terms of home technology. Like, a lot of new avenues are opening up now that weren't possible going back 5, 10, 15 years, such as smart projectors. They're becoming the norm now. So you have a lot of people who have, rooms as a cinema room, but what they have hooked up is a smart projector that connects to either their laptop or their phone. and that projects it onto the wall, and it comes with an inbuilt sound system, which I think is pretty impressive, and you can just use Netflix and whatnot. Something I'd love to have as well.
That'd be pretty sick, 'cause then I could actually use a VPN.
Yeah, exactly, and just enjoy it on such a massive scale. There's other things as well. As I mentioned before, you got like, smart fridges now, which I think look pretty cool. And then there's the introduction of things like Alexa, Google Home, all those kind of devices. So I would absolutely love to have a house that's completely kitted out with smart devices. Something where you walk in, Alexa, turn on the lights, light goes on. Alexa, turn on the TV. That kind of thing. Not so much like, I will still flick a switch on the light, but it's that novelty of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I get
again,
that.
it'd have to be at a point where money's not a thing, kind of
Yeah.
going for it. And it's just a house that I'm comfortable in, that suits my lifestyle needs. I love playing basketball, but the weather in the UK is not always the greatest, so it rains a lot. I love going to the gym, but we're currently in a pandemic, so no gym. But things like that, having that in your own house would make you feel so much more comfortable, and you just enjoy it more, wouldn't you?
I guess so.
You wouldn't. You're not big on going to the gym.
Yeah, well, it's like. So when I think of my ideal house,
Yeah.
all I think is kitchen, office, bedroom, place for everyone else in the house. Because obviously I don't know if I'm going to be like married, have kids, all of
Yeah.
this stuff. But the one thing that I did completely forget is I want a shed. And I know this sounds weird, right? But I want a brick shed that is very, very large, and I want it to be split in two. So
Okay.
I want it to be a studio, like a proper studio.
Essentially, what
in a
I'm
shed.
hearing is an outhouse. That is a studio room and then a shed.
Kind of. No, it's not like I don't want anything like I don't want to keep tools in my studio.
Okay.
But when I say, have you ever been into like a professional studio?
Yeah.
Before? Yeah. So it's got the mirror with the
Yeah.
yeah.
Of
So
course.
I'll have a console room and then I'll have the recording room, and that's what I want. And then I want to have like a focal booth in the corner of the
Yeah,
recording
yeah.
room. And I think that's kind of my ideal setup for a house. Everything else I'm not really too fussed about. I'm
Mhm.
a very minimalistic person. I only buy stuff when I need it, so I don't.
But
really want to
this is
have
in
all
terms
this
of
cool stuff.
money wasn't an issue. Like, what's your dream stuff?
No, that's it.
Even still,
Even
that's
still, I'm so
very minimalist.
yeah. Like if I had that much money, like I'm not like a normal person. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, let's go buy cars. I'd invest in property so I could earn more money, and then to treat myself, I'd probably just buy guitars, and that's it.
Yeah, you have got a big guitar collection.
Yeah, so I'm very much not really into the whole like let's make everything insanely looking like. Even here with the way that I currently have my setup
Yeah.
in this room, like none of the stuff in here costs like abundance of money because it's just stuff that I like to collect.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's a bit close and personal to me, as opposed to stuff that other people get. Like, I will never understand brands.
Okay.
Like, like branded T-shirts. And
Yeah.
Like, what are
Nike,
they called?
Adidas, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's the really expensive ones. What are they? Like kind of like Gucci, Versace.
Right. Okay, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I can't
Your
think
major sort of fashion brands then.
Yeah, but that's why there's a name for them. Like for the really expensive ones.
Nothing's coming to mind, mate.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm not someone that flexes. That's literally it. Like I wear the only shoes that I really own are I own one pair of Nike trainers, and they were on sale, and that was because I was going to the gym.
yeah,
And-
we spent ages looking for those trainers. Even
Yeah.
like told him he couldn't come to the gym in cons, so had to take him gym wear shopping, and that's what he came out with.
Yeah, and other than that, the only shoes I wear are Converse, and it's not because I'm like, oh yeah, well I love Converse. It's because they're the only shoes that I find comfortable. I'm
Yeah.
not a big person for brands. Like even clothes-wise, I only wear band t-shirts. I wear band t-shirts, band hoodies, and that's it. I'm
See,
very minimalistic.
That I understand. Like in terms of what I wear and stuff, it's just what I like the look of. It wouldn't. If I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't turn around and be like, okay, I'm gonna wear Gucci now. But with me, like tech's different. Like I love tech, so I love the idea of having smart tech everywhere. I love having everything being integrated. Going from one thing to another. So that's always been like a dream for me. But again, this is if money's not a problem. Otherwise, I'd be saving every single penny I got. But
Yeah, see, even if I had all that money, I probably would. I think the most that I do is buy an iMac Pro and
Yeah.
then a newer, better MacBook Pro, and then that would be it. And that would be my idea of
Right.
kind of combining everything together, because I could take my MacBook with me, but then I obviously have everything.
Okay.
on
So,
both my
so
MacBook
what
and
would
my
be
iMac.
your dream tech that you'd use on a daily then? Your dream sort of setups and things.
Okay, well I think that depends on what I was doing.
Okay, so say you had, your podcast going, you had Twitch going, you had your chefing going. Just imagine all of that's going on. What would be your dream equipment for it?
I would have an iMac Pro.
Okay.
Because that would be what I would use for all of my music editing and my video editing stuff. I would also have a PC. My PC would literally just be a stream PC, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to consistently use my MacBook or my iMac to stream everything. I'd keep the exact same microphone I have now because I think it's perfect. Like, I don't see an issue with it. I really like this audio interface as well. So again, that's fine. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all I would have. I'd probably buy a Stream Deck as well, just to try and make my streams look a little bit better and make them a little bit more interesting. I'd probably hire someone to help me. When I say that,
engineer.
yeah, not an audio engineer. I can do that bit myself. The bit that I would need help with is stuff like kind of just going through OBS, setting everything up, help with overlays, and trying to make my stream just look more interesting and look more engaging. Like right now, the overlay that we're running is pretty sick.
It is.
Feel free to jump on the stream at some point and have a look. Our friend Oscar got it commissioned for me, and it's Spider-Man themed, which
it does look pretty sick.
It's so cool.
Yeah, see, for me, like, again, I'd have the latest gen consoles. I'd have to have an iMac. Just so I can do more video editing, more music work. Again, with that, I need my MacBook Pro, iPad as well, just so I can switch between the switch between the three, seamlessly be able to share my work across all of them. I would definitely get a new camera. So currently I've got the Lumix G5 or G7. It's a 4K mirrorless camera. It's an amazing camera, but I'd want to get probably one of the red cameras because they're insane for filmmaking. They're like the very highest quality you can possibly get. Just to be able to make better films and things like that with it, really. What else? I definitely want a smart projector. Bit of fun. Have a bit of a cinema room. Who wouldn't? Probably get some like ambient lighting and definitely some better cable management than what I've got at the moment. It looks ridiculous.
Have you looked in this room right now?
I have, that's why it came to mind.
Yeah. My cable management is really poor, basically because all of my like power supply and my audio stuff is on here, but whenever I stream, the only way for my capture card to reach my laptop is if my laptop is on the side over there. So I basically do every single stream with cables running across my lap, but no one can see them. So I'm the only one that feels the pain, and everyone else just kind of thinks it looks alright.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't have to worry about it because you never see my face on the streams anyway.
Yeah, so
that's all good. But that's another thing I'd have to get, a capture card. So probably one of the Elgato capture cards, just so I can jump in on streams. And maybe the Razer Sticks, I think it's called. The streaming webcam has the LED light around it as well, which looks pretty cool. I'd probably also get the mic for it as well.
Yeah, I would probably, like, if I want to continue doing YouTube and I want to try and take it a bit more seriously, and I was going to invest money into it, there's a lot of things that I would buy. For example, I don't actually own a camera. I own a camcorder that doesn't work. So I actually just use my phone most of the time. I've got a good phone. Like, it's got a really good camera on it, so it doesn't really bother me that much. But I would probably buy like a professional camera with a nice microphone. I'd buy a ring light, probably some actual lighting. Wouldn't really be able to pull it off in this room because this room is so small. Like, you saw it in our tech setup video. It is absolutely tiny in here, and I've literally got it like jam-packed.
One thing that would be absolutely perfect. It was something that I saw over on Unbox Therapy's channel. Basically, it's an all-in-one PC. So it's a custom-built PC that also had a Switch inbuilt into it. Also had the PS4 and the Xbox One all built in. So you were able to seamlessly switch between them, as well as have your normal day-to-day PC running. Don't worry, the Switch wasn't completely built in. You could still use it portably and whatnot, but it was something that looked absolutely amazing. I feel like that's the kind of custom setup I'd like to have if I was streaming.
Sounds very expensive. I feel like if you were streaming like that...
It must have cost a bomb. Like, I can't imagine they made many of them.
Just buy a really expensive PC. If you bought like a really good PC, you could play pretty much every single game anyway.
It wasn't so much for that. It was just like having everything in one device. Like, in terms of cable management, you'd minimize so many because it's a single HDMI port and you literally press a button to switch between your devices, which I thought was pretty cool, and yeah, just a piece of dream tech to have.